Sure, those stories in a moment, but first, we began at the federal courthouse. One day after their arrests, 11 members of the FLDS are in front of a judge. The members of Warren Jeff's polygamous sect in Hilldale and Colorado City were arrested on charges of money laundering and fraud. Good for Utah's Alda Vasquez was at the hearing and has details.
Both Lyle Jeffs and John Wayman didn't have much to say this morning in court as the two men entered a not guilty plea on charges of money laundering and fraud. Shackled and in striped jail jumpsuits, Lyle Jeffs, the brother of polygamous sect leader Warren Jeffs, and John Wayman went before a judge today. This after authorities raided their compounds in Colorado City and Hilldale. Prosecutors argue the case isn't about religion, but a fraud scheme that took government money intended to feed poor families. Investigators say residents were scanning food stamp cards at stores and not getting items in return, allowing their leaders to funnel that money.
The legal authorities preclude diversion of federal funds for purposes other than the stated purpose. And so to the extent that federal monies were diverted for purposes other than intended, that's a crime.
Throughout the hearing, Jeff's head remained bowed as prosecutors argued against setting a bail for the two.
We have serious concerns about the defendants' flight risks, their access to locations and resources that could help them abscond and keep themselves from the court's jurisdiction.
Jeff's appointed counsel refused to comment on the case, but his son spoke out, saying his father's arrest is necessary and the allegations against him are legitimate. He says he witnessed the activity firsthand.
When I was even in the church, I asked him why we were doing that, and he says, we'll be fine, and we're 10 steps ahead of the government, so there's nothing to fear.
He and Leroy Jeffs, the son of Warren Jeffs, say the arrest of those 11 leaders is crucial to help the people of those communities experience freedom.
These guys dictate everything, down to what they wear and what they eat, and how much they eat. So it's definitely going to hurt the people, but ultimately, good's going to come of it.
And both Jeffs and Wayman will remain in U.S. Marshal custody. Jeff's detention hearing is set for March 7th, while Wayman's hearing is set for this Friday, February 26th. Reporting from the federal courthouse in downtown Salt Lake City, Alda Vasquez. Good for Utah.
And the judge said after the next detention hearing, the court hearing could end up down in St. George. If convicted, the two men could face several years in prison and thousands of dollars in fines. And Warren Jeff's other brother, Seth,